Okay, 11.3, we are going to be talking today about area, sector, or sector area and area length. So by the end of this video, you should be able to do two things. Find the area of sectors and find arc lengths. So I just want to review with you guys one thing that we've already learned in 11.2 was if we have a circle, and here's the center of the circle, and if we have two radii, so here's one radius, and let's say we know that central angle, this central angle is, let's say that, that looks like 80 degrees to me. If this central angle is 80 degrees, then the measure of the arc, I'm going to write that down, the measure of the arc is 80 degrees. So whenever you have measure, I'm talking about degrees. I'm not talking about length. Today, we're actually going to find out how long that arc is. The measure is 80 degrees, meaning it spans 80 degrees. It opens 80 degrees wide. Today, we're going to talk about how long it is. But first, we're going to talk about if we wanted to know how much area this whole piece is, we're going to figure that out. So it's like, how big of a piece is your pie? So some vocab that we're going to talk about is sector of a circle. Sector of a circle, you can think of that as like a piece of the circle. Or if you wanted to think about it in terms of food, it would be like a slice of pizza or pie. Pie. Okay, so it's literally a piece of circle. It's formed by two radii. So it's in between, it's that space in between two different radii. Here's a radius, all that space in between, that's called a sector of a circle. Segment of a circle, let's go back to this one in a second. And arc length, like I said, that's going to be how long the arc is, not the measure of the arc. So I want you to write down too, because lots of people are forgetting. Measure means degrees, and how long the arc is, or arc length, we're talking about, you're talking about inches, or you're talking about feet, or you're talking about meters, etc. You have some sort of units besides degrees. Okay, so first thing, we've got our vocab out of the way. Sector of a circle. Sector of a circle is a region bound by two radii of the circle, and at the end interrupted arc. So like I said, this is like how big your pie is, how big your slice of pizza is. The formula we use, if you think about it, in a whole entire circle, there's 360 degrees, right? So if I give it in terms of 80 degrees, I want to find out how big this piece is. That's not a percent, right? I'm not telling you have 50% of the pie, or you have 25% of the pie, or you have 100% of the pie. I'm telling you have 80 degrees. So what we're going to do is we're going to convert it into a percent, if that helps you think of it in better terms. So if we have 80 degrees, how many degrees is there total in a circle? Well, there's always 360 degrees. So if you take 80 and divide it by 360, that's going to give you your percent. Okay, and if you think about area of a circle, this is really important. Area of a circle, what's that formula that we use to find the area of a circle? Well, that's pi r squared. So if I told you that this radius was 2 feet long, you have a 2 feet pizza pie. Well, I know that the area of that whole pie would be pi times 2 squared, and that would be 4 pi. However, you don't have the whole pizza pie. You only have 80 degrees of it, and we already found out that that's, let's see, 80 divided by 360, that gives me 0.22, so that's like 22% of this whole 4 pi. So what you're going to do is multiply that 4 pi times 80 degrees over 360. Now, I know that's kind of confusing, but this is the formula. Area equals pi r squared, which is the area of a circle. Area of circle. And all you do is you take whatever the degrees is, that's what m means, and you divide it by 360. Okay, and you can leave it in terms of pi unless it says round it to the nearest hundredth. So for in this case, to find the area of a circle, or area of a sector, excuse me, I'm okay with you just leaving it in terms of pi for now. Okay, we'll work on putting it into our calculator later. Okay, so for number one, it says find the area of sector HGJ. Oh my goodness. How do I get rid of this stuff? I don't remember. Ooh, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, area of sector HGJ. So to find that area, I know that it's pi r squared times whatever the degrees is over 360. So radius, they tell us is 12. So pi 12 squared. And then the degrees, that's 131 over 360. And then 12 squared, well, that's 144. So pi times 144 times 131 over 360. Let's see, 131 divided by 360 is like 0.3638. And then if I multiply that by 144, I get 52.4. And then all you have to do is tack on a pi. So I want you to leave it like this for now. So again, all I did was I went 131 divided by 360 in my calculator and then multiplied it by 144. Okay, so let's try it one more time for number 2. Number 2, the formula is always pi r squared and then whatever the degrees is over 360. So radius is 5, so pi 5 squared. The angle is 25 degrees over 360. So in my calculator, I'm going to put this one first because that's what I like. And I know 5 squared, that's 25. And then all I'm going to do is multiply by whatever 25 divided by 360 is. So 25 divided by 360 is some decimal. I'm going to multiply it by 25, and I get 1.7. Let's say round it to the nearest hundredth. The 1.74 pi. And just leave it like that for now. Okay. I'm going to do number 3. And actually, you do number 3 and 4. And I'm going to do number 5 for you. Okay, so number 5, a windshield wiper blade is 18 inches long. So if you drew it as a picture, here's a circle. The windshield wiper is 18 inches long. To the nearest inch is the area covered by the blade as it rotates through an angle of 122 degrees. Okay, I'm going to think about it as the windshield wipers on my car. Okay, so on my car, the windshield wipers are like right here, right? There's one, and there's one. And on my car, I know it's kind of weird, but they go up like this. I know on other people's cars they do something different. So, okay, so I'm going to look at this one. I'm going to just look at one for a second. Okay, so it's going to rotate up like this to get the rain off my shield. And it says that it's 18 inches long. And it says to the nearest square inch, what's the area covered when it rotates to an angle of 122 degrees. So I'm going to say 122 degrees is like right here. So again, this is 122 degrees, and I want to know what is the area of all this surface. So we always start off with pi r squared, and then you multiply it by the degrees over 360. So the radius is 18, and I know that the degrees is 122 over 360. So in my calculator, I'm going to say 18 squared is 324, so pi times 324, and then I need to figure out what 122 divided by 360 is. So 122 divided by 360 is like 0.33 times 324 is 109.8. Don't forget to put your pi. So that's how much surface is covered. So you're answering 3, 4, and number 6. And now we're going to skip example 2 for now. That's a little bit difficult. We'll do that in class. And then the last thing is we're going to find arc length. Remember, arc length, that's like saying how long is this arc. It is not in degrees. Okay, area, sector of area is how much pie or how much pizza you had, how big your slice was. That's area. That's area. Arc length is like how much crust you have. Okay, so we're talking about just how long is this red piece? How long is it? And if you think about it, that's talking about the circumference of the circle. So for circumference of a circle, we use 2 pi r. And then you have to think of what percentage of the whole pi did you get. So again, we're using m over 360. Okay, so length, we're using circumference. Area, you're using the area formula. Okay, so if you think about, find the length of FG. Here it is, right here. Now, if you think about it, we don't know what percent of the circle that is, but we do know it's 134 degrees out of the 360 degrees that is total. That's going to help us get the percentage. And since we're talking about length, you're going to use circumference formula, which is 2 pi, and r is 8. Okay, and again, just leave it in terms of pi for now. So 2 times 8, that's 16 pi. And then 134 divided by 360 is 0.37. And then you multiply that 0.37 times that 16, and you're going to get like 5.96 pi. So 5.96 pi is how long the crust is. Okay, I'm going to do 12 and you're going to do 11 tonight. So number 12, find the length of an arc with measure 135 degrees in a circle with radius 4 centimeters. So again, since we're talking about length, we start off with 2 pi r, and then you take whatever the degrees is over 360. So the radius this time is 4, and the degrees is 135. So 2 times 4 is 8 pi. And then I need to figure out what 135 over 360 is in my calculator. So 135 divided by 360. If you're super awesome, you can reduce this in your head. But I'm going to, for the sake of time. So I did this, and it was 0.375, and I multiplied it by 8, because those are both whole numbers, and I got 3. And don't forget about your pi. So your answer is 3 pi inches. That's how long the crust is. Okay, so number 11. And for number 13, what did you learn today? I'm going to be more specific. I want you to tell me what's the difference between area of a sector and length of a sector. All right, so I'm checking that work in class. We talked about circles again today, area and length, so you should be able to define what the difference between area of a sector is and length of a sector, and know what formulas to use.